headquarters.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a good day.
So what's up, y'all? This is Splendid Radio on Pharcyde TV. I
Good thing it's a nice evening.
want to bring in the homeboy. You know what I'm saying? J Ro from the Alcoholics. What's up, J Ro? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
What up, Schmooche?
yeah, man, I
It's
had to
all
chase
good,
you.
man. Good to be
I had to
here, man.
chase you
Thanks
down
for
for this
having
one,
me.
man. I've been on you for a while, trying to, you know,
Well,
trying to make it happen.
I slow down every now and then, man. So I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I'm glad we got a time to catch up. So
Nah, that's tight. That's tight. You know, it's a trip that I wish there was a documentary or something that could really let people know, like, where they could really feel the 90s, early 90s, 90, 91, 92, 93 in LA when the hip hop explosion was going on. And
right,
it's like, a lot of people understand hip hop in the early 80s
right,
up to the mid 80s, but like in the 90s, the early 90s, you had the Far Side was on
yeah,
Delicious Vinyl. That was like, I guess that was, a big label in LA. You guys were on Loud, which, like, man, Loud don't get its just due,
we
man.
were on Loud, yep.
People don't even understand, man. Loud had you guys,
Not at
my
all.
beat, uh
People don't understand.
Big Pun, you know what I'm saying? Loud just had so many artists.
Man, like, mm, too many, man. Too many to name. I mean,
Yeah.
because even towards the end, they start signing everybody.
Yeah, I got a
They had
funny
everybody on there.
I got a funny Loud story. I remember there was this show. You guys were there, and Exhibit was there, but it was kind of in the later 90s, and it was like out in the valley. I mean, Razzcast was there, the whole
Mm-hmm.
the whole crew. And it was a trip because it was before
Right.
Exhibit really started getting down with Snoop for real, like when he was just, before he kind of,
Mm-hmm.
really like kind of just moved up a little bit, you know. And I asked him, I was like,
Right.
dude, how are you doing all these songs with all these people? Because I remember he had traveled somewhere on the East Coast, and I knew he had did the stuff with Snoop, and I was like, dude, like, you're on a label. So the whole thing, for people that don't know, when labels deal with labels, it's different money and currency that's getting traded off for artists to do verses and stuff like that, versus an artist just
Right.
stepping to
Right.
an artist. Because when an artist steps to an artist, they can say,
Right.
you know what, man, give me my publishing, and as long as I got my publishing, it's good. Or give me my publishing, and instead of, if it was the label situation, been anywhere from 25,000 to
Yeah.
100,000. If it's just like me and you working it out, you know what I'm saying? Give me my publishing, and give me like a hot
Exactly.
hot five stack. You know what
And
I'm
you
saying?
never even see that transaction. But, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So Exhibit was like,
Without a trace, basically.
yep. And Exhibit was like, man, Steve Rifkin is just kind of letting us do our thing right now. He's like, man, he ain't even tripping. He's like, man, if y'all can work it out and you can do the song, do the music, and we'll get back to it. But there's so many reasons I wanted to reach out to you. One, anybody that got, people that know me know that I've kind of moved around Europe a little bit with the Far Side and whatnot. And you're
Mm-hmm.
one of the people, some people, when you see on the road, you're like, oh man, here this dude is. But I think you were in Sweden, right? Ah, that's what it is.
Sweden, yeah.
Yeah,
I think I know a few of the people you talking about.
of course. Of course. But when I saw you,
Sweden all day.
you had came to a sound check for this little festival or something we had going on, but you were a pleasant face to see. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of like, I had respect for you because you had bounced from the United States, and anyone who hasn't traveled, the United States is a comfort zone. Like if you're from the United States, and to
Right.
go somewhere else to have to learn the food, the language,
Right.
how to maneuver,
Absolutely.
you know, all that, it was amazing to me that
Yeah,
you,
yeah, for sure.
because this is the thing. I couldn't afford to do it, but if I would go to Europe, I'll probably go to London just because of the language. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to, you know, they can understand
Exactly.
me. I can understand. I could, you know, they can understand me. I
London
can
or
understand it.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
But you went to Sweden. You can't even fake that language. You know what I'm
Sweden.
saying? So, what was the process? Are
I,
you
I know nobody speaks Swedish.
so? But you did go to Sweden, though, right?
Hmm?
I said you did go to Sweden, though, right?
Sweden, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That's where I spent most of the.
Okay. So, what was the process of saying, you know what? I'm really gonna leave my comfort zone of the United States, and I'm about to bounce out to Sweden and try to make this thing work. So, what was the process of you getting your mind
Man,
ready?
well, the process was, first of all, I was blessed to be able to be in a group that was able to travel the world, and I was able to see these places. Um, and the place I really fell in love with first was Copenhagen, which is still my favorite city to this day. Um, so it's a crazy story, and it has to do with Quincy Jones. Okay, so I'm reading Quincy Jones' book before and I happened to read the chapter where he was about to do this tour, and a label from Sweden asked him after the tour, "Can you come to Sweden and stay here and work with our new label?" I read that chapter of the book, closed it, and then 20 minutes later, my phone rings, my home phone. This back in them days, like '97. My
Yeah.
home phone rings. It's this dude on the phone from Sweden. Says, "Hey, my name's Klaus Ugla. I'm from Sweden. I see you guys are going on tour. After the tour, can you come here and work with our label?" I'm not even, I dropped the phone. You could talk to him and get this. He'd tell you the same story. I dropped the phone. I told him what happened. He was like, "Yeah, Quincy Jones live here. QD3 grew up in Stockholm." And like, so literally the tour, I went and stayed out there. Swift and Tash came back home. I stayed out there for 3 months, and the experience was amazing. Like I said, I was already coming through Europe, but not really being able to experience it like. But I was always the one who would stay for a week. I would stay for a week or two. They go home. I'll be like, "I'm staying in Copenhagen." This picture with all the rappers in New York, in Harlem? They
Yeah.
recreated the picture with everybody.
Yeah.
Swift and Tax stayed in Copenhagen. So that's one of them stories. So the after that, the process was really like, I came back home and I start telling few people. Nobody believed me. People were saying I was crazy or stupid or I heard it all. Trust me. They said they're gonna lock me in a dungeon or something out there. They lock people in dungeons and stuff, chop your hands off. I heard it all for real. Um,
You
so
know,
I went and did my thing, and it's history from there,
I'm
man.
I'm I'm gonna
History.
I'm gonna tell you a
I
funny
made
little.
a lot of history.
I'm gonna tell you a funny little story.
What's that?
We were somewhere, and this was before you lived in Sweden. And this was just like you guys were doing your thing. The side was just doing their thing. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't know each other close. And it might have been, we didn't know each other close at all then. It might have been somewhere like a party or something. And we were talking about Europe. And I don't know if I said it to you or
Uh-huh.
you said it to me, but we were talking about a reference point. And I just remember us, I think I said it to you. I was like, the place with all the dogs. I was like, there's a place out there with a whole bunch of, and we were talking about Christiana. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, because
yeah, absolutely.
because I
Christiania,
bred
man, it's no place like it.
not because I bred American bulldogs, and I was breeding them at the time, and I remember going over there, and they had American bulldog.
I think we both were.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we both were doing dogs at that time.
Yeah, and I'm still doing dogs. I do Old English
Absolutely.
now. Yeah, so Christiana, man, that was like, it was my experience with Christiana was like, okay, you have this place that's the size of a junior college, and the people inside of it have kind of taken it
Right.
over, and the people outside of it really don't have too much jurisdiction.
Right.
But if it gets real funky, the police will come in, but they really not tripping off of all the weed being sold on tables like a swap meet, hash being sold on table like a swap meet. I mean, and then the whole currency,
Right.
the whole
It's
currency,
it's a free town, as they call it.
yeah, the currency kind of blew my mind, because I knew people that would come to Christiana to like wash dishes for the day to get like meals for the next couple of days. Like they all, they traded and they bartered. So that was just like a interesting little thing for me. So when was the first time?
I mean, it's self-earned.
Yep, self-contained. When was the first time you heard hip hop?
The first time I heard hip hop was I was about 9 years old. And I was at school, elementary school. You know, I was a hyperactive kid. I didn't used to be a troublemaker or nothing, but I was just hyperactive as a kid, and couldn't sit still in class and all that, right? So I got suspended for acting up in class, So I walk home, that walk home,
The
after
walk
you
of
get
shame.
suspended the longest. So I get home, and if you remember, I was a latchkey kid. So I get home, I'm by myself, it was just me and mom. So she's still at work. So now I gotta wait for her to come home from work because the school done called her job already. And you know what that means.
Yeah.
So I'm just expecting it. The whooping is coming,
Imminent.
Mom's about to come put hands. So when she comes through the door, she has a record under her arm. See, my mom was young. She had me when she was 16 years old. Mm-hmm. So she was still, going out at the time. I'm in elementary. She's still popping, So she comes home with this record under her arm, and she says, "I want you to write all the lyrics down to this, memorize them by tomorrow morning, or I'm whooping your ass." So this record was Rapper's Delight. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So on the record, I'll never forget, it said promotional copy on it. So it was before the record came out, So apparently she knew some DJ that gave it to her. And by the next morning, I knew all the words to Rapper's Delight. And I hated it. I was like, they're not even singing. Like, they're not even singing. What is this? And I had the hip hop. But that was the first time I heard hip hop, and with the actual word hip hop even in it, So when by the time the song came out, I knew all already. So that was my first time hearing hip hop, that I know of.
So
as we know.
So you heard this hip hop. So at what point after that do you realize that you may have a talent for some wordplay?
Yeah, I started, rapping all the songs and stuff, and all the holidays on camera. I knew all the songs, but my god brother Suave D, rest in peace. He went to New York in the summer in 1983 because his father lived out there in the Bronx. So he leaves for a summer. That's my god brother. It was just like we both were only child. So he goes to New York for the summer. I'm like, here, well, just dolo. So he comes back with all these stories about cars and they was stealing hubcaps and all that. But he was like, I learned how to rap. My cousins taught me how to rap. So he literally sat there and showed me how to rap, show me how they taught him. And because we were like writing poetry and stuff. So we had the format down, but he taught me how to do it over beat. So we just
Okay.
started busting from there, man. Writing raps, we became a group called King T and DJ Pooh to our group, Total Control, and we started going around LA doing parties and rap contests, all that. And one thing led to another from there.
Wow. So you from
So
Pacoima,
yeah,
right?
that other than that Rapper's Delight, that was my introduction to just because I was b-boying at the time actually. But
Mm-hmm.
as far as doing music, that's where
Sorry. You guys are from
83.
you guys are from Pacoima, right? Or you're from Pacoima?
Yeah, I'm from Pacoima. I'm born and raised in Pacoima, and originally from Ohio.
Okay.
But we all met in the valley in the 818. Yeah.
Yeah. My experience with Pacoima was
Yep. I'm from the home of Richie Valens and Charles White.
yeah. My experience with
Go
Pacoima
ahead,
was,
say it.
you know, I met a girl who lived in Pacoima. And so I didn't know how
Oh,
far out it was or what town it was or what it
right.
was, whatever. So I'm happy go lucky driving out there, like, oh man, I'm about to go and pick her up, kicking, whoop de whoop. I see an odd mixture of people on horses and gangbangers, you know what I'm saying? And very hood. It was a
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
the odd. That's odd.
it reminded me though of kind of like a Compton, but out somewhere away from Compton. And the reason I say
Yeah,
that,
it does. Not that I have a story about that. Yeah, they got horses in Compton, because it's kind of like off to the
yeah,
side somewhere, just
yeah,
like LA, but you got Inglewood and stuff. That's still part of LA. But like Pacoima is off to the side, Compton is kind of off to the side. You feel me? So it has that like in the pocket feel, like you just damn, where am I, type of
yeah.
feel. But yeah, man, the Pacoima Compton uh my big homie Scotty D from Compton came out there, opened up the Fila shop, and that's where we all met. That's where DJ Pooh came. I'm talking about Coolio, Dub C, like everybody, man. I met Houdini up in that shop in Pacoima. And Scotty used to take me out to Compton all the time. So we was in the garage with Spade and Toddy T, DJ D from Soundmaster Crew, um, from the Bronx. I'm official members of these crews, as a kid at 15 years old. So they put me on Soundmasters. I learned how to DJ back then. So shout out to DJ D and Scotty D, man, for real. Put a brother on, but they put everybody on, man. Serious. There was kind of like a hub of hip hop
Mm-hmm.
right there.
So when you were in
So that's the documentary that Scotty D is doing.
okay, right now.
Yeah, he's been doing it for some years, but he's you know, basically showing how the Soundmaster crew formed in 1979 in Compton, and brought all the first breakbeat records out here that Dre used and everybody else. Well, so basically starting from there, you know, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So when you were in junior high school, who was the hardest rappers that you knew at that time? And I don't mean rappers that are professional, but like while you're in junior high school, the little crews and stuff that was going around in Pacoima, like who were the hardest rappers back then?
Well, in Pacoima, it wasn't too many. I was one of the few, you know what I mean? And no, in my own city, actually, because I was one of the first rappers, really. And it was always outside of the hood, people coming there trying to take me down, you know. But one of the hardest rappers that I could remember at that age was a brother by the name of Teaspoon. And Teaspoon was actually in a group with Micah Nine and AC Alone at this time.
Oh wow.
And they'll both tell they'll both tell you he was the hardest one. I mean, for real. At that time, man, he was kicking some stuff that was out of here that could pop right now. You know, um, so you know, people like that, they just leave an impression on you for life. You know, I saw him battle people, like destroy people in battles and all that. So he was kind of, to me, like the best on the streets at that time, for sure. What's up, Sophia?
So
I see a chat. I didn't know it was a chat on here.
Very good. Keep
Speaking of
going.
Sophia,
Keep going.
oh,
Hi, everyone.
is that you?
That's
her.
me.
I was just about to tell him about talk about the pop helicopter tours, level up tours. So you came in at the right time.
I'm here watching you. Tell him.
Oh, there we go. But yeah, yeah, we're taking people up in the air, man. You know, Sophia started this company a few years ago, and I think it's really the dopest thing in hip hop right now, really, because it's a hip hop tour. It takes you over famous hip hop landmarks in LA. You know, from the Compton airport.
Okay.
And there's also a lowrider tour that takes you around Hollywood and Beverly Hills. So you can choose which one you want, but we're throwing artists on the trip with people, you know what I'm saying? So I can't really think of nothing doper than that going on in hip hop right now, for sure. And that, you know, that's how we do it, Liquid Crew. It gotta be the freshest, you know. So good job, Sophia. And she only been in this country for a few years. What y'all doing out there, man? I heard people complaining they broke, they ain't doing this, they ain't living their dreams. Y'all better step it up. You know, that's another thing about what you said about leaving the country. I feel like a foreigner now. I'm about to get it, man. I'm getting it out here. For real. It's too much going on. It's too many opportunities. And you per second, not by the end of the year. I make 30 G's a year. You might not live that long, bro. You better get on these seconds right now. So that's just what I'm on, Schmooche, for real. That's what I'm on, man.
Nah,
that's what level up toward. Level up. leveluptours.com, man. Let's go up in the air. Let's get in these copters. Let's do our thing, man, for real. Big business.
You know, that's one thing that I commend you on, because I remember I want to say when you came back from Sweden, I was like, man, how'd you lose all that weight? I'm like, man, you lost weight, you got, you know, everything got right, but people don't understand the lifestyle is healthier out there. You're riding a bike, you're walking, you're not frying everything. You know, it's a lot that goes into it. And then you said you didn't just do a lifestyle change at once. You just changed the way that you did the things that you used to do. So I definitely commend you for that. So for those that don't know, and I know this might sound like a rhetorical question, but how did the alcoholics become the alcoholics? Then they became the licks.
We met up at like right after high school. Like I said, they came from Ohio, and King T was my DJ at first. And when he started rapping, it was a rap basically. I ended up being this hype man. So when he started doing some big things, DJ Pooh went out to New York to do LL Cool J's album Bad and Bigger and Deffer. So I'm by myself. So my boy Michael Hearns takes me to East Swift House, and we meet for the first time. We connected immediately. You know, he knew Tash already. So long story short, we started doing demos together. We name ourselves ESP, Everyday Street Poets. We're doing shows and doing our thing. You know, really. But King T was like, look, man, my crew got to be called the Alcoholics, because he was doing the beer commercials. He was drunk all the time, you know.
St. Ives.
We was right there with him. St. Ives commercials, you know. St. Ives used to drop off 12 cases to the spot every 2 weeks.
That's ridiculous.
So this is before we had a record deal, everything. We was
Wow. You froze up just a little bit. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo. Man, I apologize to everybody about the technical difficulties. We've been trying to rock with J-Ro, and his internet connection was kind of staggering the whole time. But you know what I'm saying? We had a hip hop great in the building, and we're gonna bring him back and we're gonna get it right. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. This is Splendid Radio on